Hey guys, welcome to LaughNapkin. Today I'm reading 3 stories from r/EntitledParents, and one of these stories has a cute doggo photo in it, so keep your eyes peeled. Now let's get into it. Child's pizza and cupcakes are more important than an emergency. I love the stories on this sub. I work with an entitled parent, but she's never irritated me the way she did today. A little context. I work in a corporate office with the big bosses, and I'm one of 3 assistants. 2 of us work in HR, and the other is the executive assistant, EA, for the boss and his wife. She is the star of the story. In her home country, she comes from an elite family. I've been told that she grew up with servants, so she doesn't know any better. She doesn't work, and mostly focuses on her clique and making sure that she has the proper paint color for the bedrooms in their new house. She has a car and a license, and has all day, every day to plan things. Does she plan? Oh no, why plan when we have assistants? She's lived in the US for 20 plus years, so that's why I have a low tolerance for her antics. 20 years is ample time to learn some customs. A woman in her mid-40s can still learn to be better. The executive assistant does work for the entire office and all of our remote workers. She is not a personal assistant. Her job description is to complete tasks at the office, and then help the wife when she can. The wife is not a priority, and that is quite literally specific to the job description. The wife calls executive assistant around 1 p.m. today. Executive assistant and I are just leaving to take our lunch hour, and we have an appointment for pedicures. The wife says she needs cupcakes and pizzas for her son's last day of school, as they're taking him out a few weeks early to travel back to their home country for the summer. Why they can't wait until school is over, I'll never know. The kid misses so much school, it's disgusting, but that's a different story for a different day. So executive assistant says, yes, we'll order the food now and then go on our lunch hour so it'll be ready to pick up when we're done. Oh no, that just won't do. We need it by 1:50. Great planning, lady. Thank you for the 50-minute heads up to feed 22 children. We're entitled to the full hour for lunch, so we're taking it. We're over her crap, and don't move any faster than we have to for her. So we get our petties in peace, and head out to the store to get the food. Meanwhile, she's called us at 1:50 asking where we are. We told her we're on our lunch hour, and the food would be ready in an hour. We're pulling into the parking lot of the store now. We're coming. Then it happens. This poor old woman just lost her footing and face planted on the asphalt in front of us. I slammed on the brakes and executive assistant jumped out of my passenger seat to help. I park and get out to hear her screaming in pain. She manages to get out that she has Parkinson's, and we decided a call to 911 is appropriate. I'm giving details to the operator, while executive assistant is comforting her and telling her not to move, and that help is on the way. The poor woman was just shocked and slightly hysterical, and it was really hard to watch. There was a small pool of blood, but it was pooling nonetheless, and we couldn't tell where it was coming from because she was covered in gravel as well. Then the wife calls again. I'm the one to answer at this point and inform her that there was an emergency, and since we were witnesses, there might be a report. We're at the store, we know you need the food, but the ambulance isn't here yet and we're going to stay with her. We need the food. It was supposed to be here by 1:50. Yup, got it. Great. Click. After all is said and done, there is a happy ending. Another good Samaritan was able to contact the woman's husband, and she was going to take it from there. The paramedics had arrived and they were working with the woman to prop her up and get her information. She was lucid and even cracked a joke. We gave our info to the workers for a possible incident report, and we left because the cupcakes and the pizza were more important. A third call from the wife comes in as I'm finding a different parking spot away from the chaos. Where are we? Still at the effing grocery store. I'm trying to politely but sternly tell her there was an emergency. What do you not understand? We finally get the food and go to the school around 2:30 p.m. just to see that she's been there the entire time, hasn't moved an inch from the lobby. Mind you, the kids have already eaten lunch and had recess like 3 hours ago. Remember when I said that she doesn't plan? This is the crap she pulls. Why alert executive assistant at 1 p.m. on the very last possible day? Executive assistant could have had this mapped out perfectly if she just had more than an hour's notice. We carry the food to the classroom, and if that teacher could have killed us right then and there, he would have. I felt bad for the teacher. He didn't know what our deal was, and frankly, he probably didn't care. In the most defeated voice, he says, "Okay, class, I guess we'll take a break now." The wife is smiling like she just won Miss Effing Universe and has no social awareness that other adults in the room are beyond annoyed. Executive assistant and I noped out of there so fast to avoid the suffocating tension in the room. I normally am never with executive assistant for these tasks, but I am thankful I was with her today for the sake of the injured woman. Both executive assistant and I are counting the days until this family is out of our lives for good. As far as the kid goes, he is an entitled kid all the way, but he didn't play a significant role in this story. If this goes over well, I might have more juicy stories about these people. They're all real pieces of work. Try to steal my dog? Get ready for the beatdown of your life. Around 5 years ago, my mother and I adopted this little pup from the center. He's a small Maltese Shih Tzu that we named Rowdy. He's loud and proud and almost never stops barking throughout the day. His name suits him well. Other than being a little loud, he's a good boy. A few weeks ago, we had new neighbors move in, and they are, how can I say this, a bunch of pricks. At first, they complained about the noise, and we told them that we've been teaching him to not be so loud. Honestly, he's still very noisy, but not as noisy as when we first got him. My neighbors had never seen my dog until one day I went to walk him. One of the 3 kids had ran inside after seeing Rowdy, and entitled mom came out and started yelling at me. I had my earphones in, so I could barely hear what she was saying. We come back from our walk, and entitled mom is standing outside our house with her arms crossed. She starts berating me for allowing Rowdy to be so loud for so long and that he should be put down. I simply told her it's been a long process, but we're trying to help him. She didn't take this kindly and decided to try and snatch up Rowdy. I push her back and told her that if she even thinks about touching him, I'll call the police. She turns away and walks back inside her house. A few days later, while I'm at work, we get a call from our other neighbors, and they said that they saw entitled mom and her husband trying to jump our fence. I told my boyfriend and my boss that we need to leave and see what's up. When we got there, entitled mom had put an effing muzzle on my dog. Rowdy kept squirming around in her arms while whimpering. We ran up, and I knocked this woman's teeth in. My boyfriend grabbed Rowdy and undid the muzzle. Her husband just stood there, probably scared that my boyfriend would knock his teeth in as well. I don't remember how badly I beat this horrible person, but there was a lot of blood coming from her mouth, and damn, it felt good. Our neighbors called the police, and when they got there, I was still on top of this whale. Pulled up and handcuffed. I was searing with rage. Rowdy seemed to be doing okay, and went back to his normal loud self. Ambulance arrived soon after, and entitled mother was taken away. I was basically given the story of violence is never the answer and that I'll be taken down to the station. My actions weren't justified to be fair as she'd only put a muzzle on him, but that's when our neighbor had told him that they'd jumped our fence. A few hours later, I was let go, but entitled mom could still press charges for assault. Again, violence is never the answer. We haven't heard from entitled mother yet, but her husband was given a warning in the assist of breaking and entering. I'm still surprised this whale even managed to get over the fence. That's all for now. Thanks for reading. Here's a pic of Rowdy for those wondering. Entitled mom threatens to call Child Protective Services on my father when he won't pay for her heating. Growing up in Canada, I played quite a bit of hockey. This actually happened to my father as I was only 13 and playing in the hockey game. As you know, it's very cold in hockey rinks. But our home rink at the time had a small heating system over the stands where the parents sat. By default, the parents of the home team sat in the left bleachers and the visiting parents on the right. At the top of the step, there was a little machine that you could feed quarters into. 1 quarter paid for 5 minutes of heating. I know, that's a lot. My father was a nice guy, and would usually bring a bag of quarters to keep the bleachers that he and my fellow teammates were sitting in warm. And most of the time, a parent from the visiting team would usually do the same. But on this specific day, we were playing a team from further away, and all the parents and kids already seemed a little cranky from having to wake up early and the long drive in the terribly cold weather. Just before the game started, my dad put his quarters in, and this caught the attention of Entitled Mom. Entitled Mom confronted my father, asking if he could pay for their heating as well, as none of them had quarters. My dad politely said no, and recommended that Entitled Mom could get change for $1 at the concession stand. Entitled Mom called him ridiculous, saying he should pay for her heating because she was the guest. Once again, my father explained that it wasn't his duty to pay for her and began to walk away. But Entitled Mom wasn't having it. Entitled Mom steps in front of him and takes his bag and points out that he still has some left. My father explains those are for the parking meter and snatches the bag back. Entitled Mom proceeds to pull the "Oh my god, did you just assault me?" move, but seeing that no one has even noticed her shouting, gives up on that. My father attempts for the second time to walk away, and for the second time Entitled Mom steps in front of him. Entitled Mom then begins calling my dad poor, and eventually she somehow gets to the conclusion that he is mistreating his son, me, and is too poor to raise a son. This is where Entitled Mom crossed the line. My dad, who is a pretty big dude, gets in her face and says, "You can insult me, but don't you dare insult my parenting." Entitled Mom responds with, "Well, I'm just gonna have to call CAS, Children's Aid Society." My dad, who has had enough at this point, squeezes himself past her and returns to his seat. It's not over yet. At this point, Entitled Mom is yelling at my father from across the bleachers, and this time one of the officials hears Entitled Mom screaming and tells Entitled Mom to stop yelling or she'll be removed. Entitled Mom then proceeds to threaten the official, and that's when the ref decides he's done with her and gets someone to remove her from the rink. All happily ever after, but you gotta feel bad for her kid who had to watch all of this go down. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Big shout out to everyone that is subscribed to this channel, as you're the ones making these daily videos possible. See you guys in the next video.